Hello, good evening. Welcome. This is News Tonight with me, Nana Abba Anamwa.
My name is KOTEI, and you'd want to get every update that you're looking for tonight on our local front. But don't you forget that we have other stories in business. We'll be touching on the international front, as well as bring you up to speed on some sports news.
Coming up are the headlines for tonight. Minister of Parliamentary Affairs expresses disappointment at visa racketeering allegations brought against 4 MPs. Meanwhile, one of the accused rejects the fraud allegations against him.
Also coming up tonight, supporters of the MPP in SAVELUGU and Sanoriegu reject President's choice of the Chief Executive in spite of pleas from the local government ministry to accept the appointees.
Trades Union Congress plans to advocate decent jobs and conditions of service for workers ahead of Labor Day on May 1.
Tonight in business, producer price inflation rises to 6% in March from 2.4% in February. We'll be giving you updates on that.
In sports with Tony Bebley, newly appointed Black Stars coach James Kwesi holds closed-door meeting with President Akufo-Addo.
And on the international front, Liberian authorities rule out Ebola as a cause of deaths of 9 people from a strange illness.
Leading the pack tonight will be Insight. One of 4 MPs accused of abusing their diplomatic passport has said his daughter tricked him. Former MP for Isunafo South, George Boache, is accused of illegally migrating his daughter to the UK on a 17-day visa. But the former MP said he will appeal the sanction prohibiting him from travelling to the UK for the next 10 years.
The 4, comprising 3 sitting members of parliament and a former MP, were cited by the British authorities for allegedly perpetrating visa fraud using their diplomatic passports. The MPs are said to have used an unauthorized persons and their diplomatic passports to apply for visas for persons who traveled to the United Kingdom but did not return as stipulated by their visas. The wife of MP for Bia East, Richard Echampong, has not returned to Ghana after he used his diplomatic passport to help Esther Tiwa spend a stipulated 14 days in the UK on Christmas Eve 2015. On the other hand, Member of Parliament for Ntrotroso, Joseph Benhazin's UK visa was cancelled and a 10-year UK visa ban has been imposed on him after the identities of his wife and daughter were changed in their travel application. While MP for Ahafo Southwest, Johnson Kwekwedu, used a diplomatic passport to aid the travel of his wife and daughter for a 10-day stay in the UK. The 2 have not returned since July 2016, leading to a ban on his travel to the UK. In the case of the former Member of Parliament for Asunafo South, George Boache, he allegedly took a trip with his 37-year-old daughter in 2012. Although the trip should have taken 17 days, the daughter, Joyce Boache, only returned last month. British authorities have since imposed a 10-year travel ban on them. However, speaking with GHOne News, the former Asunafo South lawmaker explained his daughter tricked him. He also disclosed he intends to appeal the sanctions imposed on him.
I will appeal against that conviction. So I left 2 weeks before the time given to us. And I told her, I gave her a ticket to her and told her to come on that agreed date. But she didn't come. And I tried locating her, I couldn't. But before even I left, he told me she was going to see an uncle. And then I left, and then he also went to see the uncle. And that was the last time I saw her.
Meanwhile, Minister for Parliamentary Affairs and Majority Leader in Parliament, Oseche Mensah-Bonsu, has expressed disappointment about the leaking of the petition meant for the Speaker of Parliament to the media. He also indicated his office is doing its best to get to the bottom of the allegations brought against the MPs.
I had this intimation from the High Commissioner from UK to Ghana, and he wanted me to interrogate the issues and possibly get back to him. So I had some engagements with the names that he supplied to me, and some of them, I mean, they gave various responses, and I had to get back to the ambassador, the High Commissioner. Once we had that, then I got to know that the issue had been circulated widely by the High Commissioner, and I was admittedly very disappointed.
So that was the Majority Leader and also the former MP talking to Kemeni Amano earlier today on Newsroom. For now, let's bring you some updates so far on this matter, as it has been trending since that news broke out this morning. This is what has been happening, and it will be coming up on your screens in a bit. Okay, so this is how persons with diplomatic passports attain their passports. If you're wondering how even a former MP or former MP still hold on to their diplomatic passport, because that was captured in that letter to the Speaker. Any member of the government of Ghana proceeding abroad on official government business, and the wife of such members who accompanies him on his journey. Any diplomatic representative of Ghana accredited to any other country or to any official international organization as head of mission, that person also will attain a diplomatic passport. Any consular officer of Ghana also needs a diplomatic passport. The wife and every member of the immediate family residing with any person referred to at B and C, I beg your pardon, and then the head of any delegation of Ghana attending an international conference or convention at which countries are officially represented. Any prominent citizen or high public official of Ghana. Now that's a very tricky one. Any prominent citizen. Who is a prominent citizen, you may ask? So either of these persons proceeding abroad who, in the opinion of government, requires such passport for the purpose for which he is traveling abroad. Also, you'd ask yourself, why do former MPs still hold on to their diplomatic passports? That's a question that would go on and on and on. But let's talk to Dr. Vladimir Enkridanso, who's joined us on the phone now. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Enkridanso. I'm sure you have been following this case quite closely. Now, the issue of diplomatic passports, it's not the first time we're having a reason to discuss diplomatic passport, even before we go into the case of the MPs. Can you give us your thoughts on the persons who are required to hold diplomatic passports in this country?
Well, diplomatic passports have several categories. The first to hold diplomatic passports are members of the diplomatic community, that is, foreign service officers. And then also those who work in international organizations. And then also dependents of those persons have named, but they are in a second category. And so these persons, and including government officials who may from time to time travel to transact business on behalf of the government, they may hold diplomatic passports and all what we call service passports. So these are the categories, and they have all been enshrined in what we call the Vienna Convention, where diplomatic immunity and how diplomatic passports and the diplomatic things work with persons who hold such passports. So it is something which is recognized internationally.
Okay, now in going through the persons who are required to hold diplomatic passports, there's a section that says any prominent citizen. Can you throw more light on that for who is a prominent citizen?
A permanent or a resident?
A prominent citizen.
Or a permanent citizen. Okay, citizenship is bestowed on the person through various also means. And one thing is that I was born in Ghana, I'm a Ghanaian, so I'm a permanent citizen. But if I want to travel to another country, then I'm just a guest of that country. And so if I hold a passport, whether ordinary or diplomatic, I am a permanent citizen of Ghana, going to a different place where I cannot be permanent. I can only be given some residence for a period, or I can acquire that place's citizenship if I so wish.
Okay, the word is prominent, not permanent. Prominent citizen.
So again, the word is not coming properly.
A prominent citizen, not a permanent.
Prominent, okay,
yes.
okay. Yes. The country has prominent persons who are known worldwide and who are very much well known in their country and who hold that high esteem, like parliamentarians, like very serious professors who are doing research worldwide and are very well known. Any other citizen who is prominent in the sense of his work and his being are all prominent persons.
Okay, so for instance, would a very popular pastor in this country be required to hold a diplomatic passport because he's deemed to be a prominent citizen?
No, absolutely not. When we talk about such person who can hold diplomatic passport, unless the country has bestowed on him some kind of plenipotentiary status. I mean, a person who does some work like an ambassador on behalf of the government.
Okay.
Other than that, an ordinary pastor who is so popular in the country, it doesn't mean anything. But his popularity may earn him popularity outside, for which reason any country wanting to give him a visa would look at his prominence in the country and give him some visa, but not because the government of Ghana has given him that prominence.
Okay, now let's go into the issue of the MPs, because if you read the letter from the British High Commission on behalf of the Foreign Office, they talk about some over 100 persons who are no longer parliamentarians but are still holding or using diplomatic passports.
That is absolutely wrong. Diplomatic passport means that you are holding a kind of, let me use the word loosely, ambassadorial status. You are an ambassador of the country, and that's why they give you a diplomatic passport. You are a diplomat of the country, and anything you do will be for or against the country. So as soon as you are no longer in the category of those who have a right to hold the passport, you got to give the passport back. And it shows it's a big dent on the institutions of state that need to have done this, which we haven't done.
Okay, now as an international relations expert, what have you made of that issue involving the 4 MPs and how they relied on a certain Apia Egoro boy to get visas to the UK and their spouses and children overstaying in the UK?
Well, my information is that some of them are denying, but be it as it may, if it is true, then it is shameful. In the first place, it shows 2 things. Number one, it shows that we are not very meticulous about how our institutions work. It shows that we endorse corruption because these are things done by ordinary boys and girls who fraudulently give visas to people in order for them to travel outside. And if MPs are involved, then it's a shameful thing. Thirdly, it is going to bring much burden on people who travel from Ghana, prominent or non-prominent. Once you hold a diplomatic passport, the fear is that it may not be genuine. So these are some of the things which make it a smack of some kind of, it's in that case.
All right, thank you very much. Dr. Vladimir Nchi-Danso is an international relations expert talking to us on the issue of visas involving those MPs today. That'll be it for Insight.
All right, so away from Insight, let's do other stories now. Local Government Minister Hajia Halima Mahama has asked for support from NPP faithfuls for the newly appointed MMDCEs. She assured that this is the last time chief executives will be appointed in the country. Hajia Halima Mahama made the comments at the official announcement of the president's choice of 212 persons to fill the position of chief executive officers of the various metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies. The appointment comes days after the president appointed the chief executives of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, AMA, Tamale Metropolitan Assembly, the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, and the Sekondi Takoradi Metropolitan Assembly. The 4 mayors of the largest cities in the country were approved unanimously by their assembly members. Nonetheless, in many parts of the country, the varying views of the possible choice of chief executive has sparked protests, some of which were violent. At the announcement of the remaining 212 MMDCEs, local government minister Haji Halima Mahama called on supporters of the governing New Patriotic Party to back the appointees.
The president list of 212 chief executives is being released now for the assemblies to approve in the coming days and weeks to complete the process. It is natural that those who were shortlisted and vetted by the President's Committee had high expectations that they will be appointed to serve in the nation as chief executives of the assemblies and be the chief representatives of the central government in their districts. But it is obvious that only one person can serve in that capacity in every assembly.
The campaign chairman of the NPP in the 2016 elections, Peter Mark Menu, hopes the president's choices do not spark any further protests.
We are going to get a very, very, very good approval from the assemblies because the process is so extensive and the consultation was quite wide, including assemblymen themselves. They were involved. We had their inputs. You see, the issue is that we took inputs from cross-section of the districts, and the assemblies and assemblymen and women, we valued them and took inputs from them as well. And in fact, some of the people who have been nominated by the president themselves are presiding officers and assemblymen themselves.
He called on supporters of the NPP to support the president's nominees.
Well, it appears that pleas of the local government minister and that of Peter Mark Menu fell on deaf ears in Savelugu. Chaos broke out in the Savelugu-Nanton municipality hours after the local government minister announced Aishetu Seidu as MCE. As you can see on your screens, the angry youth believed to be supporters of the NPP vandalized signposts belonging to the party and torched car ties in front of the office, chanting war songs. They also blocked some roads within the community, took the intervention of the police to quell the disturbances. There were similar incidents in Sanerugu, while in the Tolon area. The regent, Major Sulemana, had also rejected the president's appointee for the district. So these are scenes from Savelugu today when its DC was announced in the person of Aishetu Seidu, and we're getting reports that other areas were also recording similar chaotic scenes, especially in the Tolon area.
Mr. Barak yes, the vice secretary is there. He's coming. Yes. There are so many of myself as I speak to you right now. This is not just the beginning. This is just the beginning.
All right, we'll stay in that area and talk to Abubakar Sadiq. He's a communications officer for the NPP in the Savelugu area. He's just joined us on the phone. Thank you for joining us, Abubakar. Now, as we heard, now we listened to Peter Mark Menu before the story that just rolled, and he said that they had received inputs from a cross-section of people, including the party's grassroots. Now, if you are rejecting this lady, Aishetu Seidu, does that mean that you were not happy with the consultations, or there was no consultation at all with you?
Okay, thank you very much. Good evening to you and good evening to the viewers. Well, these agitations are being done by a section of the NDP youth in the Savelugu constituency And as you can see, Savelugu National Municipal Assembly has 2 constituencies, the Natal constituency and the Savelugu constituency. And these agitations were mainly done in the Savelugu constituency. And the reasons for the agitations are this. 1, the Ajia Aisha to say is not a registered voter in the Savelugu constituency. 2, she hasn't participated in any activity in the constituency for the past year. And the second part is that she didn't contribute anything to the party during the Senate election campaign. So these are their reasons. And even though they chose a wrong platform to submit their grievances, these are legitimate concerns being raised by the youth in the Savelugu constituency.
Okay.
It is suggested that a cross-section of the people were consulted before this was done. I don't think that's close to the truth because I'm a party executive member and I wasn't part of any consultation to select the woman. Neither was my chairman part of it. So,
okay.
But as party officers, we respect the decision of the president, but we disagree on grounds of the fact that the woman is not doing the constituency, and we haven't seen her participate actively in any of every activity in the constituency.
Okay, now, Abubakar, I have a feeling that the views expressed by these people, these persons in Savelugu, are a reflection of how you feel as well. As you say, you were not even part of the consultation. Now, let me ask you this. The president is appointing MMDCEs who really become heads of these districts on his behalf. Should these persons necessarily be persons who are registered voters or have participated in party activities? Should they be party people, really? Should they?
Well, over the years, the role of the MMDC have shifted from being non-political to being political, because politicians are now select them, and these are people who are supposed to come from the ground people, because the people don't have access to the president. They see VP as someone who they can go close to and talk to them for their problems to be solved. So if a grassroots person is not selected as a VP or MP for a particular area, it becomes difficult for the party youth to have their problems being solved by the party.
But the MMDCE, sorry, Abubakar, the MMDCE is not there to serve the party's people. He is there to serve the district and not necessarily the party people. Are you well aware of that?
Well, it might not be openly stated anywhere or well documented anywhere. But over the years, there has been the practice in this country. We all know that MMDC, one way or the other, serves the interest of political parties in this country. It is a known fact. So if someone who is selected is not a grassroots person, it becomes difficult for people who are serving for the party to benefit in one way or the other from the ruling government.
So you would prefer an incompetent grassroots person manning the affairs of the district to a competent person who is not, for instance, a card-bearing member of the NPP. That's what you're telling us this evening.
Well, I wouldn't prefer an incompetent person to a competent person. In any circumstance, I won't do that. But in the circumstance of Savelugu National Municipality, all other people who were vying for the role were competent enough. Even some of them were highly competent than Ajia to say.
But the president wields the appointing authority, and he believes this Aisha can deliver. So why are your people on the streets misbehaving in such fashion?
Well, as I indicated earlier, the people want someone they can easily relate with, someone who they can go to and explain their problem to them without having to introduce themselves to their person.
Have they channeled it through the right processes instead of burning ties and blocking roads and affecting productivity in Savelugu and actually disturbing everybody?
Like I earlier on indicated, their grievances are legitimate, but the method in which they submitted their grievances is something we party officers in Savelugu constituency we have disagreed. We disagree with the method they use in submitting their grievances, but they have a legitimate concern.
All right, thank you very much.
But I want to use this opportunity to appeal to the youth in Savelugu National Municipality to allow cool heads to prevail.
Okay.
To be calm. The president is fully aware of what he is doing, and then we respect his decision to appoint Ajia as the MP for Savelu constituency. So they should come down and allow peace to prevail.
All right. Thank you very much. Abubakar Suleiman is the communications officer for the NPP in Savelugu.
Well, away from Savelugu, let's now move on to some labor matters. And here, an estimated 1.5 million Ghanaians wake up every morning in search of jobs. The absence of decent jobs, according to experts, is one of the major setbacks to the country's economic growth.
Over 500 participants from the 18 national unions under the TUC gathered in Accra to deliberate on the challenges facing the Ghanaian worker. A major challenge discussed was the high rise of unemployment in the country. Statistics show that 77.3% of Ghanaians are currently unemployed, with the highest number of 42% recorded within the tertiary sector. Though the economy has seen some growth, it is sad to note that every 1% economic growth is associated with a 0.5% expansion in the labor market. For the union, it is not enough for government to mobilize workers. Officials have thus appealed to the government to create decent jobs through industrialization. Speaking in an interview with GHOne News, Chairman of the Trade Union Congress, Richard Yeboah, stated that the fight for an increase in the minimum wage of the Ghanaian worker has also been a major challenge, but hopes the new government will deliver on its promise for a better living wage.
For us, we are looking forward for living wage, not minimum wage, as we used to say. You take something that can help you and at least your household to be able to live, not even survive. That's what we are looking forward to. But again, you cannot, take what is not there. And therefore, that is why we are all coming together to support the government to make sure that, our country develops.
General Secretary of the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, Solomon KOTEI, commended the labor union for its efforts at ensuring a constant fight for decent working conditions for the Ghanaian worker.
Trade unions have come very far. Our involvement to attaining of our independence so relevant. The significance of even the creation of the National Labour Commission that is helping workers address and resolve their issues so significant. If even for the fact that you have unions that help workers to have right and say at their workplaces, and even to have a say in the job security in terms of their social security and retirement age, I think the significance is very enormous.
Richard Yeboah further addressed the challenges of the agitated nurses waiting to be posted and cautioned them to exercise patience.
They need to exercise restraint and also, try to also listen to particularly their leaders. Sleeping there, being bitten by mosquitoes and exposure to the weather, I don't think that would solve the problem.
The labor union is further calling on government to focus on the agriculture and manufacturing sectors by providing efficient and stable energy supply as a measure to raise productivity, as well as reach out to members of the informal sector.
The coalition of unemployed bonded nurses have given government up to the 6th of May to meet their demands or face their wrath. The trained nurses have been picketing at the Health Ministry over the last 3 days because of government's failure to give them jobs. The fresh ultimatum was announced after the nurses called off their protest earlier today.
The nurses, numbering over 100, Monday night picketed at the Ministry of Health to press home their demand for job placements. According to them, they had not received any posting after completing their national service a year ago. made up of psychiatric nurses, general registered nurses and midwives, members of the group slept at the ministry until this morning, unmindful of the dangers of the rainstorm. According to the group, their decision to call off the 3-day-long picketing is due to the assurances given them by some government officials. Abdul Ganiu is General Secretary of the nurses.
Failure of the Ministry of Health to get us cleared and posted within the stipulated time will compel us to send our plea to the Father of the land, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
The Chief Director of the Health Ministry thanked the group for calling off their 3-day-long picketing at the ministry.
What I can do, I can give timelines. What I cannot do, I will not deceive them. For us, working on their issues and the rest, yes. It's money is involved, and I've pleaded with them they should bear with us and then give us time. We'll sort them out.
So finally, they've accepted to go home.
For now.
You think they are coming back or their issue will be resolved?
I hope it gets resolved, because you really can't promise people a whole lot and then you can't. Eventually they think that nothing is going to happen. I'm completely against their style of protest. I mean, there are better ways to go about it, but of course they need the jobs. Some of them have been in for years and it's difficult for them.
For most of them, surviving is a difficult issue. We hope this comes out well in the coming days or months.
Yes, let's take a break. We'll come back with business with Abena Owusu Nyameche.
From the first industrial action in 1919 to the last in 2016, workers continue to find their voice to demand more pay and better conditions. This is a struggle that will continue and only stops every 1st of May as the world comes together to celebrate our hard work. GHOne recognizes workers and say Ayiko. Tune in on May 1 for the best coverage. GHOne News, Beyond Barriers.
We unite. We defy. We hope. We dream. We play. We are fire in our hearts.
Celebrate 60 years of independence with a Guinness or Sajafo. Grab a bottle and look under the ground for a chance to win one of over 1 million bottles. Taste the celebration with Guinness.
This April, 7 activities, 12 churches, over 100 athletes, the dribbles, the dunks, the cheers, and the excitement. Ghana, get ready to let your hair down and play. Star 103.5 FM brings you another edition of Ghana's biggest gospel event, the Star Church Olympics. Come witness churches battle it out for supremacy and win the ultimate prize of 10,000 Ghana cedis worth of airtime. The venue, Burma Camp Sports Complex. Date, 29th April. The time, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And there's more. The event will be climaxed with a gospel jam featuring GH's top gospel artist. Call us now on 050-150-7871 for registration. The Star Church Olympics. Churches don't just compete, they soar. The Star Church Olympics is brought to you by Star FM, simply the best.
And proudly sponsored by Star Life Assurance, your solid partner for life.
This year, GHOne celebrates our amazing mothers.
Five regions, 5 marshals. over 40 destinations.
Anything can happen. Close the swamp and the crocodiles.
The thrills, the adventure.
Get inside and you never come back.
Reliving the lost history, experiencing the culture.
Even the kids have the same respect when anybody enters this place, and this place is the house of Okonfo Anoche, the most powerful fetish priest ever lived.
10 intriguing stories with the Sky Marshals. Showing this and every Saturday at 2:30 p.m. on GH1 TV.
All right,
Welcome back.
Today we had prices for producers. That's the prices they incur going up marginally compared year.
What does that mean for us consumers?
Okay, so it could probably feed into inflation prices. That's the price that you get. So,
okay,
for instance,
what's that in English? So if I go and buy a bowl of kinky, has it gone up?
It's not gone up for now because the prices of kinky, the basket for that one has not been measured yet.
Okay.
But maybe the cooking pot that was manufactured, that price is still changed. Yeah, I didn't want to use that.
So that probably has gone up.
Yeah, manufacturer's cost has in producing that particular has inched up marginally.
So has it got a rippling effect on?
So it could feed into the CPI. That's later on.
All right.
She's here to talk about
That's all of that in English. Let's go to Abdul Musinyameche now with the business news.
Well, Kweku summarized it, the PPI being released for today, the month of March. We've got details of that and more all coming up in Business Brief tonight. It is brought to you by the National Investment Bank. Your business is our business.
Business Brief is brought to you by
National Investment Bank. Your business is our business.
For 2 months. Building in this country is too difficult.
Don't worry, the National Investment Bank We Pay for Your Dream scheme can help you finance your building project.
Listen, NIB gave me cement, iron rods, roofing sheets, and other materials to finish my building.
NIB can also help you purchase your home appliances, your mobile phones, and your motorbikes.
You don't even need to have an NIB account to benefit from the NIB We Pay for Your Dream scheme. No.
Just visit any NIB branch with a valid national photo ID card. And the best part is, all purchased products are at no interest.
Call NIB now on 050-145-1050.
National Investment Bank. Your business is our business.
The Ghana Statistical Service has announced producer price inflation rose to 6% in March from 5.4% in the month before. The rate represents a 0.6 percentage points increase in producer inflation relative to the rate recorded in February 2017.
The producer price inflation measures the average change over time in the prices by domestic producers of goods and services, and the drop or rise has a tendency of feeding into the consumer price inflation. Speaking at a press conference in Accra, acting government statistician Banwadie emphasized the increase in the PPI to 6% for the month of March was mainly due to the increased inflation for mining and manufacturing. The producer price inflation stood at more than 48% in the late 2014 when the cedi depreciated significantly against the US dollar, coupled with the frequent power outages. The significant drop to a single digit is a sign of progress as the government attempts to stabilize the macroeconomy with support from the International Monetary Fund. Banwadi explained producers recorded the highest levels of inflation in the manufacture of electrical and machinery at the rate of 21.2%, while manufacturing of non-metallic mineral products recorded the lowest producer price inflation of negative 2.3%.
In other news, the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center has stated that Ghana is likely to harness a lot of investment opportunities from the just-ended IMF World Bank Spring meetings. Speaking to EIB's correspondent in Washington, D.C., Famous Atichogbe, after a closed-door meeting with the International Finance Corporation, Yofi Grant said their engagements with the investor community in the UK and US has been highly successful.
The meeting highlighted prospects for an improved business environment in Ghana and helping participants better understand Ghana's reform priorities. It was also aimed at sharing some of the World Bank Group's global expertise and best practices in this area. Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia led a team made up of Senior Minister Yawo Safo Mafo, CEO of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center Yofi Grant, Presidential Advisor on Media and Special Projects Madam Oboshisai Kofi, and other government officials. The session also touched on opportunities to leverage on ICT to enhance business and the importance on reform leadership. The IFC Vice President and General Counsel, Ethiopas Tafara, emphasized IFC's commitment to supporting Ghana's reform effort through investment, mobilizing capital from the investor community, and providing advice when needed.
We did spend a fair amount of time talking about our experience in helping other countries with similar reforms and express our commitment to bring that experience to bear upon the Ghanaian effort. We are equally committed to the effort, and we talked about that commitment, and we talked about the experience we've had elsewhere and its potential application in Ghana.
Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia also spoke about Ghana's plans and priority areas moving forward.
Ghana is also coming to the table to make our country, Ghana, the most business-friendly country in Africa. And that is the task we've set for ourselves. So we have to learn from what is going on in other countries. And this particular meeting brought together some very good, country experiences that Ghana can learn from. How do we bring everything with the use of technology to set up a one-stop shop, so to speak, for the registration of businesses, licensing permits, and so on.
On his part, the CEO of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, Yofi Grant, told the Business Brief his outfit is strategically positioning itself well to take advantage of the investment opportunities the Ghanaian delegation have negotiated while they toured the US and the United Kingdom.
The World Bank and the IFC gives us a great opportunity to leverage on a lot of the diagnostics they've done already, which will enable us leapfrog what was done before and achieve our objective of being the best place to do business in Ghana, which is very important in also attracting investment. Because if you do not create the environment, the internal environment, it doesn't open your doors that easily.
Now, some aggrieved small-scale miners in the Ashanti region have resolved to petition the Asantehene Otumfuo Osei II over the recent campaign to halt illegal mining, popularly known as galamsey, across the country. The fight against illegal mining has intensified, with government poised to find a lasting solution to the menace. But the small-scale miners are unhappy with the move.
At an emergency meeting held at the TUC complex in Kumasi on Tuesday, an executive member of the Ashanti Regional Artisanal Miners Chapter, Kwabena Boakye, said the issue of illegal mining has been blown out of proportion. He accused government of giving the miners a bad name. The meeting by the group was to discuss issues affecting their operations, with the major one being government's clampdown on illegal miners. Also on the agenda was arrangement for a meeting with the Asantehene to petition him on the fight against galamsey. The group also wants government to come clear on when miners with permits can resume work and also when government intends to regularize the operations of small-scale mining activities in the country. The miners are therefore calling on government to allow them start the operations because they have legal certification binding their mining activities.
Wadesia ya kaya gudam emema dane ma nana yasro bebia wo bia sautu mania fa wona sifam adwuma ne papa wom na adenti na adechia bia ne bone nko na yesori ayeka aden yemu bebre yesi school da won krase ye tu suo hospitals yesi ni nyina won krase ye ma scholarship ye surgery man kra omo yare enema pa ye gusu ayeye ye hwenyanka eti adan eti yesremu pi enidiem minister babia ho bia temeni a yesrew se nyabotre waba ye se ye mu akwaba ne anu tu na mokokru no ma Ghana konanim afa na tuma pafra ya bra ne ahunahuna.
Well, clearly there are interesting times ahead with a campaign to halt activities of the illegal miners. And this petition to the Asante Hene will see his response in the coming days. But that's it for Business Brief, brought to you by NIB. Your business is our business.
Business Brief was brought to you by
National Investment Bank. Your business is our business.
Hey, for 2 months. Building in this country is too difficult.
Don't worry, the National Investment Bank We Pay for Your Dream scheme can help you finance your building project.
Listen, NIB gave me cement, iron rods, roofing sheets, and other materials to finish my building.
NIB can also help you purchase your home appliances, your mobile phones, and your motorbikes.
You don't even need to have an NIB account to benefit from the NIB We Pay for Your Dream scheme. No.
Just visit any NIB branch with a valid national photo ID card. And the best part is, all purchased products are at no interest.
Call NIB now on 050-145-1050.
National Investment Bank. Your business is our business.
All right, so you're welcome back in sports. Well, Tony Beverly is here to tell us exactly what happened between the president and the new coach. Hi, Tony.
Hi, Nanaba.
Okay, my first question for you.
Right.
Why is it so important for the coach to call on the president?
Nana, the meeting was held in closed doors, but as Kwesi Appiah landed in this country, he first acknowledged the president for the appointment, where people raised questions that there was some political influence. But as the first chief executive of this land and the coach lands, definitely he must pay a courtesy call. But it wasn't open to the media, so
Okay.
we'll talk about that.
All right, then.
So, coming up in sports, President Akufo-Addo meets Coach Mayele Kwesi Appiah behind closed door. Details coming up.
Sports Brief is brought to you by Castlegate Real Estate Group.
Castlegate Estate Ghana Limited has evolved with new management and administration and positioned itself to serve you better. Seize this opportunity to do business with us by reserving a plot this year and start your own construction today. Castlegate Estate also has near complete or shell houses and serviced plots at prime locations on offer for sale at Katamanso, Tema Community 22 and 25 extensions, Dodoa and Prampram at very affordable prices. Our fully serviced plots come with electricity, pipe-borne water and road network. These plots are now selling fast. Just call our new management team and book appointment for free site visits. Castlegate Estate. We make home ownership easy.
So welcome back from that break. And newly appointed Black Stars coach James Maele Kwesi-Appiah held a closed-door meeting with Ghana President Nana Akufo-Addo yesterday.
Black Stars coach James Kwesi-Appiah held a closed-door meeting with Ghana President Nana Akufo-Addo on Tuesday at the Flagstaff House. This meeting precedes Appiah's official announcement as coach of the senior national team. The 56-year-old is expected to sign a 2-year deal with the Ghana Football Association, an appointment which has the blessing of President Akufo-Addo. Appiah's visit to the seat of government precedes a similar trip to the Ministry of Youth and Sports on Monday, where he interacted with the Sports Minister Isaac Esiama and other officials of the ministry. The former Kumasi Asante Kotoko defender will begin his official duties on May 1st. Appiah arrived in the country last Friday after leaving his post as coach of Sudanese side Khartoum after 2.5 seasons in charge.
So we all pray for Kwesi-Appiah, the Black Stars coach, who will be taking us to Russia 2018. Mathematically, it is possible. Realistically, some say it is impossible. And some athletics news where Ghana's female athlete Janet Amponsa is the first athlete to qualify for the IAF World Championship in London and believes she will make an impact in London, but shared his disappointment in the country's absence in the World Relays in Bahamas last week.
I am very happy for the qualification, and now all the things that I need to focus on to focus on my training for the preparation for the main tournament. I was very disappointed that we couldn't make to the World Relay, but we are still hoping to get support from the government.
So the first female athlete to qualify is Janet Amponsa. We are hoping that the rest will join her so that we will meet in London this year. And some Premier League matches that came up today and on the House of Folk, drawing 3-3 with Bolga All Stars and Kumasi Asante Kotoko staying at the Babaya Sports Stadium also to draw with Adriana Stars. So on your screens you have Tema Youth beating Great Olympics Agoswe Dade Imachine 2-1. Asante Kotoko staying at the Babaya Sports Stadium to draw 1-1 with Adriana Stars. Brekum Chelsea beating Wild All Stars by a lone goal. Became United, they drew goalless with the Crab Boys of Cape Coast, Ebusia Drafts, Abontoa, and elsewhere. On the league log, Wafa still lead the pack with 29 points after 13 matches. Adriana Stars following by second position with 26 points. Brekum Chelsea 21 points. Accra Hearts of Folk 20 points after drawing with Bolga All Stars 3-3. Kumasi Asante Kotoko after they are placed 5th with 20 points. Became United 18 points at 6th position. 7th on the log table is Ebusia Dwarfs. 8th on the log table is Wa All Stars. So this is the first half of the Ghana Premier League. 2 matches to end the first half of the league, where they will be playing. The rest of the league matches come Sunday, and the next will be a midweek match. So for your information, Accra Folk drew, Kotoko also drew. But the good news is that Accra Folk, they drew away against Bolga All Stars 3-3. Kumasi Asante Kotoko, they stayed at Babaya Sports Stadium. I know the fans of Kotoko will not be happy, but let's just pray that after the first round, Coach Frimpong Manso could do magic for the Porcupine Warriors. So that's all for sports, and I'm handing over to Nanaba and Kweku.
Sports Brief was brought to you by Castlegate Real Estate Group.
All right, thank you very much, Tony Bebley. Well, after the heavy downpour yesterday, the weather was quite gentle today. Let's join Ines Fly for the weather update.
The weather is brought to you by
Innisfly for a pest-free life.
Enough! Abba! Plenty medical bills. I have tried different methods and it hasn't prevented sin. My son has been in the hospital twice this year because of malaria. I haven't had a good night's sleep in years. But now no more. Since I painted with Innisfly insecticide paint. Copy.
Innisfly insecticide paint kills mosquitoes dead for up to 2 years. It is a quality paint, a healthier option, and it's totally safe for humans and pets.
Take my word for it. Paint malaria out. Use Innisfly insecticide paint now.
Innisfly for a pest-free.
Yeah, welcome back to the news. It's now time for international news with Lerato Charlotte Lesoso. Good evening to you, Charlotte.
Good evening, Nana, and good evening to you, Kweku. I know when I hear Charlotte, I know Nana is in the building.
It's in the house.
A very good evening to our viewers. Time now to have a look at news making headlines across the world. And tonight we start off in Liberia, where we understand that they're having a mystery illness situation there, where the Liberian authorities have ruled out Ebola as the cause of the deaths of 9 people from a mystery illness in the southeast of the country. Now, Liberia's chief medical officer, Dr. Francis KOTEI, says the tests on blood samples from the bodies of the deceased showed that the authorities are not dealing with Ebola. Dr. KOTEI said further investigations are being carried out, and the question, of course, remains about what was the cause of the death. The Ebola outbreak in Liberia in 2015 killed more than 5,000 people. Since Ebola has been ruled out, now we wonder what is this mystery illness that is busy killing people in Liberia. Now, moving on to Nigeria, Nigeria's President Muhammad Buhari has missed his second cabinet meeting in a row. Reports say the Information Minister, Lai Mohammed, says that the president was absent because he wanted to rest. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo chaired the meeting instead. Mr. Buhari returned to Nigeria last month after being in London on sick leave for nearly 2 months. Now, President Buhari's absence from today's meeting has fueled speculations about his state of health. Mr. Buhari, what is going on? We all want to know. But that's all we have time for tonight on our international segment. Thank you for tuning in. Back over to you, Nana and Kweku.
Thank you very much, Lerato.
Let's now go for E-Zone.
An art institution founded by legendary Ghanaian female filmmaker Nana Ofori-Atayin is a vast display of the rich Ghanaian history captured through the lenses of the camera.
These are photographs by Felicia Aban. Felicia Aban is Ghana's first female photographer. She has had a studio for about 60 years in Jamestown, and it will soon be turned into the Felicia Aban Museum. And she was Kwame Nkrumah's official photographer. And she also did a lot of studio photography. And at the time when she first started, she was the only female photographer amongst many men. And then she went on to train many photographers, also females amongst them. And her work is obviously very beautiful, the symmetry of it, but it also tells of a history of fashion, you know, the history of how did we see ourselves? Who were we in these pictures?
The history of our country is brought to life as beautifully framed portraits line the walls, binding us to our roots. These pictures are treasured and are worth 1,000 words. They serve both as a reminder of our distinctive Ghanaian history and the fleeting moments we encountered as a nation.
We decided to digitize, to archive some of the very, very early, very old photographs from Ghana. So some of the photographs range from the 1920s, some even earlier than that. And they show the history of our becoming. They show industrialization, they show the early work that we did, they show our societies, they show our schools. And so this part of the exhibition at the front is reflecting, is expressing some of that.
I know it's a reminder for every Ghanaian to acknowledge the country's rich cultural heritage.
The Cowbell Vita-Rich formula has been stolen. Get it back at all costs. Great tasting Cowbell with Vita-Rich has the 28 vitamins and minerals you need to be at the top of your game. Delicious, nutritious Cowbell with Vita-Rich, our milk.
All right, so that would be all for news tonight. But we're not done because very shortly she's coming up with State of Affairs.
Yes, you have to remind me. I'll be talking to the NCC boss.
Whoa.
Yes, Miss Josephine Nkrumah. You know her?
I've heard she's a very lovely person, but I can't wait to hear from her. That means tonight I'm glued to my set.
Yeah.
Not going home yet.
Knowing you. I know. Thank you very much for your time. For the news, we are back at 11:30 tomorrow with Newsroom with Kemeni Mano. Well, with Abno Sunyamecha, I beg your pardon. But yes, coming up shortly, State of Affairs. Do stay with us.
A little help.